Alright, so this is ComfyUI and then this is LM Studio, and I basically was able to just send an image prompt in LM Studio, but then the image generation will be basically sent to ComfyUI, and after that I can get the picture that was created by this particular workflow in ComfyUI. So this is truly an offline local AI image generation. You can chat with LM Studio like you're chatting in ChatGPT, but then it will intelligently choose or select an image model to actually generate the picture. And these are some examples that I created locally on my computer via LM Studio. So this is possible because now we have a new technology called MCP, or Model Context Protocol. So in this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process to essentially connect LM Studio with ComfyUI. So when you are asking AI in LM Studio to generate a picture, that request will be sent towards ComfyUI, and then you can generate the picture. This is really cool, but there are many steps that we have to perform to actually enable this capability. And I'm trying to make this video to be as simple as possible. I have done the research and testing for hours, but I would say this is the simplest way to actually do it. So step number one, you have to download and install Python on your computer. Just go to Google and search for download Python. And okay, so this is Python. I'm going to open it and just download the program depending on your system. It is available for Windows, Linux, macOS, and even Android, but in this case I'm using Windows. So if you are using a different system, then I hope you can adjust accordingly. So basically just download and launch the setup file, and during the installation just make sure that you have enabled or tick the box that says add to path during the installation process. It should appear at the very beginning. So it's basically like this. Just make sure that this one is enabled, and then you can click install and then next until it finishes. It is basically very straightforward. So after that, after you have installed Python on your computer, you can basically install the MCP server on your device. So for me, if you're using Windows, you can open CMD or command line. So type CMD on start and then open this, and then you can type any of this. Sorry about that. This one, yeah, this or this. Actually, it's recommended to use this one because it will basically make sure that it will install all the necessary dependencies. But from my experience, I can just use this command line and that just works just fine without any problem. So it's either a pip install MCP, or you can also just use this one. I recommend the second one for most people. So it looks like this, and then hit enter and then wait until it finishes. So what it does is it will install some MCP dependencies, and I think the size only about maybe 20 to 30 megabytes, so it's not very big. Just hit enter, wait until it finishes, and then you can close this command line. And then the next step is that we have to open ComfyUI. Now I would assume that you already have this program on your computer, but in case you don't, for me at least, the easiest way to install ComfyUI is by using Stability Matrix. It is basically a package manager. You can search Stability Matrix and then open this GitHub page, and you can download Stability Matrix to your computer, and then you can install it normally and you can launch it. So let me just open Stability Matrix. This is quite similar to Pinocchio and other similar package manager because it will make the process of installing ComfyUI to be way simpler than the conventional method. And I do recommend to use this method if you are not very technical, because it will just simplify everything. So basically in Stability Matrix, you can go to Packages menu and then click this, and then you can search for ComfyUI. It should be in here, and then click the install button. So I already have ComfyUI in Stability Matrix, so that's why I cannot install it again. But just click install, wait until it finishes, and then you can open or launch ComfyUI in the packages menu again, click launch, and just wait. So one thing here that is very important is that ComfyUI must be launched first before LM Studio. It is very important. So it will only work if you have ComfyUI running first, and only then you can open LM Studio and load the large language model. Okay, so this is the result. I'm going to click this URL. It should open the ComfyUI interface on the browser. Now, this process is going to be very unique depending on what AI model and what workflow that you are using. I'm not a ComfyUI expert, and honestly, I only downloaded this program maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and there are many things that I have to learn. In fact, this particular workflow, I didn't create it myself. I just copy and paste somebody else's workflow, and it works. So this is the workflow that I'm going to use for image generation or text to image. And if you don't know how to use or create your own workflow, I do recommend to just use a template and then just download the one that you think is going to be okay to be operated on your computer. And you have to consider the power of your hardware, because AI image generation is very resource intensive, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. And by the way, for this particular video, we are focusing on text to image. So if you want to use image to image or image editing, then I think it's gonna be slightly different. So I just want to make sure that you understand the scope of this video, which is only for text to image generation. Now, okay, this is the workflow that I'm going to use. And basically, you have to go to settings, go to Comfy, and then enable the dev mode. This is also very important. Make sure that the dev mode is enabled. And then we have to download this workflow in the JSON format. So click this, click File, and then click Export API. Do not click this one, click this one. And then for the name, I will actually make some changes. This is one problem that is so little. It's not a big problem, but it will often just lead to failure. So sometimes the code might be confused with the name of the file, like is it using space, is it using underscore, it is using dash. So I'll just specify here, I'm going to remove some confusion. So I'm going to remove this dot. I'll just use underscore for everything, for the space basically. I'll use underscore. I actually encountered this problem a lot where the code is just using a different file name, which just looks very similar. But yeah, basically this is one thing that you have to pay a closer attention to. So this is the name, and then I'm going to click confirm. Okay, so we got this JSON file, and it is now actually stored in my downloads folder. So this is the file, and I will create a new folder. I'm going to click this, click new folder. Let's call this one LM Studio Tools, hit enter, and I'm going to just move that file right here. And you can actually put this folder somewhere else. You could put it in the desktop, but just put in the place where you can easily access the file or the folder. Okay, so this is the JSON file for the ComfyUI workflow. Now, the next thing is that we have to create a Python code, and for that, we can use ChatGPT, Gemini, or Cloud AI. Now, for me, I'll just use Cloud AI. And after that, you have to upload that JSON file. I'm going to drag and drop that JSON file. And then this is the prompt that you can use. Okay, this is the prompt, and don't worry, I'm going to put this whole prompt in the description down below. Copy the text, but do not send the message yet, because there are a few things that we have to customize. So if you look closely, there is a section where you have to enter the directory yourself, and this will be different from person to person. So for me, my JSON workflow file is stored at the download folder. So this is the directory. I'm going to right click on this address bar basically, and then copy the address as text, and I'll just replace that. Remove this and then press Ctrl V, and there you go. And my ComfyUI output folder is, since I'm using stability metrics, the location is this, but if you are using Pinocchio or if you're using the traditional way to install ComfyUI, then the location would be a bit different. So that's something that you have to find yourself. But usually the output folder is located within the ComfyUI root directory, and then in this particular folder says output. So I'm going to just right click and then copy address as text, and then I'm going to remove this, Ctrl V to paste, and there you go. And my ComfyUI URL is this one, and I think for most people it is the same unless if you change the URL to something else, but this is, I think, the default URL for ComfyUI. So after that, when you're done, just send a message and wait for Claude, ChatGPT or Gemini to respond back with the code that later we have to download, and then some of it we have to install in LM Studio. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I got the response back from Claude, and it just produced two different codes, and I need to download one of them and the other one must be installed in LM Studio. So this is the Python code. I'm going to open it and it basically looks like this, and I'm going to download that code to my computer. Okay, there you go. So ComfyUI MCP server.py or Python. And yeah, I'm going to open the location of the folder, and then I'm going to move that to my LM Studios tools folder. Let me just right click, cut, and then open this folder and then paste. Okay, now I'm going to download, or actually not download, I just need to copy and paste the other code, which is the MCP JSON server code essentially. Open this. Okay, I cannot see that. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm going to right click. I'll have to select it first, right click, copy, and then we have to open LM Studio. So I'm going to open LM Studio and basically make sure that you have the model that has a feature called tool calling. So if you are new to LM Studio, you basically have to download the model that has this hammer icon, meaning that it is able to use a tool calling feature, and that is very important. If the model doesn't have that, then you cannot utilize this ComfyUI workflow because the model is incapable of actually calling the ComfyUI workflow. So make sure that the model has this hammer icon. Okay, so this is LM Studio, and basically you have to open the sidebar and then click install, click edit mcp.json. Okay, be mindful, MCPs are useful, but they can be dangerous. Got it? And I'm going to delete this. Press Ctrl V to paste the MCP server JSON that we just copied from Claude. Click save. Okay, MCP server has been added. I'm going to close this. And as you can see, we got a new MCP called ComfyUI image generator. I'm going to enable it, and hopefully there is no error. If there is an error, usually it will tell you what was the error. Okay, so far so good. There is no error, and let's start playing around with this new feature. Let's start a new chat, and for the model, I recommend to use something that is not too big, because remember, we are trying to run two distinct models at the same time. One is for large language model for text generation, but the other one is image model, which is quite heavy. So for me, I'll just use, let's say, maybe Qwen 3 with 1.7 billion parameters. That's not very big. I'm going to open it. Just wait until it is loaded, and then I'm going to just copy my prompt that I prepared earlier. There you go. So I'm going to just paste it and make sure that the ComfyUI image generator is enabled. So if you don't do this, then it's not going to be working. Send a message and just wait. Okay, so it is creating the prompt. Click proceed to allow AI to access ComfyUI. And okay, still going, and if I go to ComfyUI, I think you can see that, okay, there you go, it is running. There is a new image now is being created by this workflow. So just wait until it finishes. It will be very slow at the beginning because it needs to send the whole model to your video memory, but as you can see, it was able to generate the picture in this particular directory. And if we open, sorry, ComfyUI, you can see the preview. There you go. Nice. So this was the picture that I just created from LM Studio, and you can repeat this process again and again. You can send more messages and you'll get the picture that will be created by ComfyUI. And by the way, earlier we have actually specified the location of the output directory. So when the image was fully created, then AI will give you maybe a link or perhaps a URL or directory of the location, so you can open it quite easily on your computer. But other than that, that's basically how you can connect LM Studio with ComfyUI, so you can chat with AI normally, but then you'll have a new image generation capability. It is really cool, and I hope you learned something from this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Have a great day.